Welcome to my Highland Cow tutorial, and this image here is what we're going to be aiming to create. I have provided you with a template of a sketch that you can download and print, cut out just to give you the outline, or just use the sketch because sometimes it's easier to copy someone's sketch than the actual real photo. Now the photo is on Pixabay and these are free. There's no attribution required, so they're free reference photos for artists. There's thousands of images on Pixabay, but go on there and search Highland Cow. I'll put the link in for you. The other thing that I'm providing this time is a little colour chart. I thought you might find it useful to see the different colours and how, when they're neat and you're using a little water, you're at this side and it's darker, and how the colour changes. So you can kind of see the different colours used here to create that hairy effect. I also used a bit of black as well and Payne's grey on the horns, so we'll probably use that again, but that's there for your reference. Now you have to be patient with this picture because you have to do quite a bit of waiting for paint to dry. So start off, you've got your sketch, but again this one is a bit too heavy handed, so I'm just going to go over it. I'm trying not to wobble the camera, sorry. When I rub out, it wobbles the camera, so apologies. You'll notice the image on Pixabay, he doesn't actually have an eye, but I like a bit of an eye. I like to put an eye in and give them a bit of character, but you don't have to. Okay, so we're ready to go. And the way that I started, make sure you can see, is I'm going to use a bit of burnt sienna. And not too watery. And notice I'm using quite a fine, this is number 4 brush. You'll also notice I cut the end of my finger. So a nice frozen plaster there, you can see, blankets. You see the way that I'm doing this, it's just quite loose and I've not got a lot of water on my brush at the minute. I'm just going for this first layer, quite a red. Now what you want to do on the picture, the reference picture, is you want to try and see which direction the hair is going in. And do try and follow just slightly the direction of the hair. This one, it's kind of sweeping around the face. Around his nose, her nose, whatever. Bit across. It's almost like he's got a side parting. Just follow You need to be quite patient here. You're building up layers and layers. And again, with loose painting, it's giving the impression of things that are there without necessarily seeing them. So these bits here are ears, and you can just make out that it's an ear without actually seeing the shape of the ear. So again, follow the direction of that the hair is going in. That's the side of the face, so it's kind of coming down. And then we've got this ear over here. Just add a bit more water. That was a bit too much water, I think, there. Don't be afraid again of white. I've said before, white leaving white, that's fine. You're aiming for kind of different tones here. So you want some bits where you've not got much water on at all, and that gives you that darker, more defined bit. And then you have some bits that are a bit more watery. And you might want to just get a bit of base colour in, so just a bit of splodging with just a wet brush to give a bit of underground colour. Again, following the direction you think the hair's going in. Now he does have some of his hair on his back coming down. I'm not going to go too far. I don't want too much emphasis on that, so that's probably going to be fairly pale. Some tufty bits there. Just should probably have rubbed the pencil out a bit more. And then coming down under his chin, a bit more. Again, I'm working quickly. Sometimes working quickly when you're going for a loose effect, it's quite a good thing to do, because you don't have time to overwork it and put too much thinking into it. We're going to make that bit under his chin a bit darker in a minute when the paint's all dry, but you might want just a few whiskers coming down there. Okay. Bit of underneathy colour here. Okay, now while we're waiting for that bit to dry, we can put some colour in the horns. Now I haven't put my Payne's grey on the tray. I'm using my half pan Payne's grey. But if you look at the reference photo, the tips of the horns are darker. So I'm going in with some darker. I'm not using black, I'm using grey. Just like that, and then I get some water. Just water. Gives that kind of loose, smoky effect then. At the ends I might want a bit more down the bottom. A bit of shading. Okay, so the other side. Try not to get my arm in the way. Bring it round, wash my brush and just a bit of water. Make the paint move where you want it to. I might want a bit more on the bottom again. You might feel you want a bit more in the end. Give it a bit more emphasis. That's got quite a nice effect there, hasn't it? I'll just leave that like that for a minute. Okay, so let's come back to his face now. And I'm just going to put a little bit now. So I've been using my burnt sienna. And I'm now going to use a little bit of burnt umber. Just in under here. Create that kind of shadow. Because he has got a kind of different colour. Face really to the rest of them. I'm going to add some lights and darks in a bit, but I'll keep that as it is. Now his actual nose is a kind of peachy colour. Just put a bit, I'm using a bit of pink here, but I might mix that and put just in with and kind of as an undertone to the burnt umber. There you go, and it gives you that pinky effect. Now you will have rubbed your pencil marks out more than I have. That's hopefully that won't notice too much when we're finished. And while we're waiting, we can do his eye as well. So again, I'm not using black for that. I'm using a bit of Payne's grey and then a bit of your raw umber, which is a dark brown. And with his eye, I'm just gonna remember to keep a bit of light in the eye. He looks a bit cross there, so we'll change the angle a bit. Sometimes if you have like a slanty eye, it makes them look very angry. You go, oh, I don't want an angry cow here. So, and then I'm gonna kind of just blodge that in a bit. I like the softness of an eye. I don't like it all harsh. So I just go over and put a little bit of water on it and soften it up, and I'm quite pleased with that. So I might just leave that there to dry because I like that effect that's coming underneath here. So we're going to leave that to dry for a little while now, and then we'll come back in a bit. Right, the time that it took to make a cup of coffee, that's dry enough really now to crack on and put a bit more in. So what you could do now is you could just experiment. You could just put a bit of your burnt umber in. A bit of depth, and again just lightly across the surface to give that impression of hair. Gosh, you see it doesn't show up very well over here, does it? It needs a bit more definition. So again, it's all about the illusion of what you're putting and where it's going. Because you can't actually see where on earth this cow's head is really. There's so much hair over it. Sometimes if I don't like a bit, I'll just add a bit of water and then go over it. Now, you might wonder why I added violet to the end of that colour palette. But it can go quite nicely with these browns. And normally I might use purple, but you haven't got purple in your set. You've got violet, and it works okay. Don't need too much, or you might want loads. Up to you. I've got a reddy pink here as well. I might try and put in a bit of as well. Just adds a bit to it. If you think, oh gosh, that's a little bit much, you can just add water and you can go over and rescue some of what you do. That was a bit much, that pink, wasn't it? So I'll come back to that bit when it's dry. Okay, so down here I probably want a bit more definition. And you just keep going, really. You do want some dark under his chin here. That's, in the picture it's very dark and muddy. Bit of dark in, and then you might get your burnt sienna over the top again just to kind of mingle it. That's looking alright. As I said, lots of patience and just keep going with it. And if you get a bit lost, go back to the picture and think, what direction are the hairs going? Where's the light and where's the dark? That's the most important thing. A chunk of dark under here in the picture. And I'll just give a big blob, not too big a blob though. So I've got all sorts of colours going on here. That's probably still not quite dry enough. So we're going to come back and we're going to look at his nostrils now. So we're going to use a little bit of Payne's grey in with our really dark brown, and we're just going to dip in there. And down there, dip in there, and I'm going to wash the brush, take a bit of the water out and then just push in like that, and then that gives the illusion or the appearance of the depth in there. And then the other thing we need to do is kind of come up underneath. And the way that I've found useful of doing that is I'll put a line and then I'll wash my brush out, and then I'll kind of push up to the line that I want it, and then it gives that kind of overhang illusion, I think. Now the bit that isn't working very well is this bit here, so I might just get a bit of, maybe bring a few more. So that colour works quite well. That's the burnt umber again. And he's got a bit of a parting going on up there. My pencil marks are a bit dark. This isn't the easiest picture in the world to paint. I find them quite tricky creatures. I think you've just got to be patient and build it up. Right, now underneath the chin needs to be a little bit darker, I think, so it's just giving a bit more colour in the chin, and these side bits here. I need to let that dry to be able to get those whiskers to do it. But you could probably do with a bit of dark underneath there as well. So this bit could do with a little bit more work. And you could just keep going. You could make it as crazy as you want with whatever crazy colours you want to put in it. You could use purples, pinks, blues, reds. When you're finishing, when you're done with all your layers, I've got my little brush, but you might want to use a toothbrush, it's good for this, but I'd take a bit of wet burnt sienna and I would just go a bit loopy with it. That bit probably was a bit much, so you can lift a bit off. You might want to do that with your purple. Let's add a bit of there you go. I might keep going with this. I might add a bit more definition around the ears, a bit more shading around the front. But in essence, that's how you do your Highland Cow. I hope you found it useful.